Hello, collective. Welcome back to the channel. I'm just gonna start because the energies have been just so. I don't even have words for it. Just profound, intense, transformative, heavy. And a lot has been going on where people have started feeling a bit more. They have started understanding a different type of soul importance. And there was this one card that didn't want to go back or kept showing up in from this deck. So I'm just gonna start here with a divine counterpart message, because this is true love. This love is once in a lifetime love. And to the left and to the right of it, there's a message where the divine feminines are feeling this connection that defies all laws of logic and physics. And the divine masculines are in need. It's this dire need of physical touch. Because sometimes, a pat on the back or a hug or a handshake or something just as simple as that can truly bring that, the divine masculines back into their heart space. Because divine masculines have been giving their attention to someone or something else, and they definitely need, you definitely need to reconnect with nature and listen closely to nature's omens and signs and synchronicities, because you've been giving so much attention to other people but not yourself, that it's really important for you to reconnect. That's something that will help you on this huge transformation or this change that you're going through. Because the divine feminines, on the other hand, they are also going through a huge transformation. They're closing out a cycle. But the divine feminines have definitely reached that point where they know how they want their partner to be, and they're acting as if they are already loyal or focused on somebody that they haven't even met. That's kind of the energy, because we have numbers 37 and 28, which both come down to 10 or 1, which is the actual ending of a cycle and the actual new beginning of a cycle. So let's expand on this energy, because I know that there's just a bunch of you watching that resonate with divine masculine and divine feminine energies, or at least you want to kind of elevate your frequency, which kind of makes me, name you that. So what we're collectively going through is working together with our actual people. So a lot of us have been going through discernment and, picking apart a lot of we were picking apart our groups of people, right? So we were looking at collaborations. We were looking at who is a positive influence in our life, or who is just there to make it harder. And that's where this true love energy comes in and out of, because the masculines have started being a lot more devoted to singing their own song and being in this higher awareness energy, the stag spirit. And I'm also today blessing you with a stag as well, as this card has one on top of the masculine's head, right? So there's this internal fire, internal song, this music of the soul that is bringing a heightened awareness, and also this recognition of the divine feminine being this unicorn, this special being that is very receptive and nurturing, and can also create that family, because I'm being pointed to this child in this blossom. So where divine feminine energy is currently is in complete surrender, in grace, right? You are very hot, or you could be very hot physically, because I'm being pointed at the fan, and it's just this very nurturing, graceful, really divine feminine energy where you are just being receptive of all the love being given to you, and there's a bunch of fireworks that spirit is creating for you to be aligned with your actual person. Because divine feminines, the union of hearts says there is a connection of love that defies explanation. And then we have act as if your partner is here, that says whether you have someone in your life or not, act as if they are with you, so you will always consider them. And again, with this picture, I'm getting how both the divine masculines and feminines are very connected to source at this point in time. That's something that has been cleared out. And what I'm gazing upon is these new sands, these new worlds. So the back of the picture is very golden, but it reminds me of like Egypt or Libya and golden tektite. So you might be benefiting from golden tektite, and that is definitely going to help you to realign yourself on your sacred path. Because what I was getting here, divine feminines, for you, you have been in this very divine feminine energy. So we need to kind of rebalance back into our reflexes, right? Into our divine masculine energy. So we're constantly being given opportunities to stay in balance, or whatever is going on emotionally, it's to shake the foundations of, you know, you ending up questioning or asking yourselves, but where am I going, right? What is my path? What should I do next? And this heightened awareness that has come upon both of the collective, so the divine feminine and the divine masculine, helps the feminine dance out of joy, which helps us attract mates, right? Or soulmates. And that's the transformation, that's the liberation that the divine feminine is having here, because you're not forcing anything to happen. You're just flowing with life, flowing with the flow. I don't know why I had to say that, but I'm looking at these moths, and people are being attracted to you like a moth to a flame. And divine masculine is just, you know, anybody that aligns with your energy is just in this dire soulful need of keeping you close, touching you, and holding your body close to theirs, especially by your waist and by your shoulders, and kissing your hands and just admiring you, right? But on the other side, the divine masculine is understanding which love languages are important to them, and how much this give and take, this receiving, or on the other hand, like as much as you give, what do you get back? And do these people find it important for you? Because you are elevating into an ascension. I'm getting your throat chakra is definitely unblocking. You're being cloaked in in blue at this point. So it's like each day you are covered in a different light spectrum, and because your love is so ready to flow and you're just a loving being in general, you are now looking at, there's a car alarm going on somewhere. um, you're trying to figure out like how important it is for you to be touched and for you to touch, or to be affirmed or to affirm. And you're just looking at these gives and takes of how reciprocal certain energies are, because this woman here is, I don't know why, but she's giving me not necessarily reserved, but not in such a receptive energy as this masculine is trying to adore her with, right? And I'm being pointed at a path here. It's like a stone path, so stones are really important, and grounding. Feeling like walking bare feet on stone beaches or riverbeds, or just something that kind of pushes up against your reflex points. That's going to be very helpful for the divine masculine to kind of ground that emotional energy where you don't know, where you don't quite see like what you truly deserve as it, when it comes to reciprocation. And the changes that you're going through are going to be definitely balanced out in nature. Nature is really important for you to either, see certain animals that can be very specific omens for you, and you might expand on those. So for instance, you see a fox and then you put it in your browser or wherever and look up spiritual meaning, because you have decided to walk on a certain path. And when in life, or in real life, when you go hiking per se, when you look at something but don't notice something else, it's also an omen, right? So when you walk this path, you are noticing certain synchronicities or symbols, or a certain flower is blooming at a certain time where you decide to go somewhere to recalibrate, and that flower just kind of it pops out of the environment. That is also the universe kind of nudging you to look at it, to either smell it and connect to the scent, because scent in my theory also kind of connects the same to us as light or sound. So scent is very important. That's why nature will be a great helper on your path of transformation, divine masculines. And overall energy here we have yeah, looking to your inner strength. So you're stronger than you realize, collective. Both, all of you resonating with this message are going through returning back to yourself, returning back to kind of, I'm getting like Peter Pan for some reason, could be significant for some of you, or the storyline, or I'm also hearing pipe dream for some reason. So what I'm getting is, collective, we are discerning here what is a dream and what is reality, right? So our souls are constantly calling us to go back to source, to go back to that inner child, to return all these steps back into ourselves. Because as we walk and, people affect us, we kind of leave fragments around these people, and to call them back in may be a harsh realization of how much you have lost yourself, your innocence, your, that soul, where you were a child and you were curious about things. You love learning and you love exploring and seeing new places, but I'm getting this stuck energy and something has to change. I'm being pointed to the two foxes on this card, because foxes are very family oriented. They're very connected. They have their own family pack. And usually foxes are, you know, cunning creatures, or they have this tactile energy or strategy behind them. But these two foxes are telling me that what you're looking for, what the collective is soulfully looking for, is that true connection, that true love, right? The union of hearts, that connectedness and magnetizing of souls. So let's see. Being guided to use the Animal Spirit Oracle, or whatever it's called, has animals. Because animals have a message for you today. Apparently, nature is calling you back to herself, Mother Gaia. So, did you notice that we have been collectively just angry of how they're treating our planet, our beautiful Mother Gaia, our Pachamama, everything? We've been connecting collectively in this grid of consciousness, right? So we have been feeling higher dimensional emotions as well as lower dimensional emotions, and our senses have been so overwhelmed. Because I've been guided to read from the Bhagavad Gita, and I peeped just the first sentence of where I have to continue, and it does talk about senses. So we have Bat Spirit with another number 5. We have 41, and then we have 5 here, and then we have 5 here. It says a rebirth is assured. So don't be, it's time to rest is what I'm hearing. Don't be rushed to heal. Don't be rushed to force something, because your energy might get clumsy, or you might injure yourself. Because when we are going against what we are feeling, or forcing ourselves to be in harsh environments or rude environments, and when we don't take time to just listen to our heart, it makes us even more readily available for the devil to kind of come in and trip us. So, one second. We went through a summer solstice, which is, okay, now the days are getting shorter. We have peaked, right? Sorry for all the throat awakenings. I haven't been talking to anybody but myself. So, you know, we went through summer solstice. We had this fucking full moon. Sorry for cursing, but it's just been a lot. And now we have entered Mercury retrograde. So my advice is isolate. Hermit 2.0, right? I haven't listened to myself, and I went on a, let's say, a trip of the century. And what happened was a balancing of universe itself, pretty much. So what happened to me was I was able to sing publicly, and I did it twice, and I was just living my best life in the heat of European summer, in the middle of Spain, and I had so much fun. But everything in between was all, you know, God guiding me. And I don't really want to talk about it, but it's time to heal. Snake Spirit with 5-5. Yeah. So we have been uncovering all these snakes, right? The snakes in the grass, the snakes around us. And it's been hard because this timeline, what has showed us was where we truly want to be, where we truly need to be. And yeah, Moth Spirit, surrender now. surrendering to what our soul truly wants isn't easy in this realm, right? That the 3D realm is like, oh no, if, you know, we're either gonna hurt our own feelings or hurt other people's feelings. Like, there's no in between sometimes. And everybody has their own path of, you know, they're playing their own main character game, if they're playing at all. Some people are empty vessels, some people are literally NPCs, some people are humanoid lizards. But the soul codes within the light people, like you and me collective, it's about seeing the big picture. It's about looking from above. It's looking from your higher self perspective. So, you know, sometimes, well, all the time for most people, it's really hard to look from a bird's eye view, or to have a perception about something instead of your perspective on something. What I mean by this is, we go through life having a certain ego, a certain confidence, and a certain self-image. And when life gets to us, we are usually stuck in the way we see things, right? This is, you know, ego speaking. And then that gets crushed because you're doing the same thing over and over again and nothing changes. You keep manifesting the same shit. So what needs to happen is we need to shift our perception, right? So the way you look at something may have from a different angle, may have a different shadow being cast upon. So if we cast a shadow on this, let's say it's, you know, same on both sides. So if we cast a shadow like this, it's going to be a circle. If we cast it like this, it's going to be like a stick or something. And if we do it like this, it's going to be let's say, a rectangular shape of a shadow. So the way we project life, 2222 on a timer, the way we project our perspectives it's why people can't agree with us. So we need to shift our perception to looking at it from a different angle, so we can assess it from all dimensions, from all sides. 44 on the timer. And we have skunk spirit with 54, which is 9, and it says know your worth. So, you know, skunkies are okay. Side message: knowing your worth when it comes to true love, because I'm not really placing them underneath to show me a path, but it showed me the coloring was the same and it aligned, and it's 3-9. So what's missing is 6, to bring ourselves back to ourselves, our natural selves, our fractal selves. So to find true love is to know your worth, right? Or to know your worth is to see, you know, how the intention of people can be binary, right? It can be bad or it can be good, and we can differentiate that because we know our worth. And because we know our worth, we also know that we are losing sleep for no apparently good reason, or we are going on dates for apparently no good reason. And without knowing your worth, you cannot find that soulmate, because you need to reclaim all those lost fragments, those soul pieces that you've left in these people on your path. Reclaim them, cleanse them, and reassemble yourself chip by chip, right? It's kind of this realignment with self and truly going within. Like, I know you might have been listening to these as they came out, but to truly go within means to truly detach from your surroundings and other people's wishes and wants, right? So it's asking ourselves, who am I? Why am I here? And why am I so possessed by helping everybody else but myself? Because imagine this picture, if you can see, God bless. I'm getting the energy again where somebody here listening has been overtly extending their energy, just give. And the feeling behind it is this, like, this is what we truly want, right? Is this cosmic dance of color and light and frequency and magic. Whereas this physical touch, I know it's, you know, we scry from these. We're not just looking at pretty pictures and colors here. I'm looking at this woman. She's exposed to light, but she's also in shadow, right? So this person isn't in that full color, whereas you're looking for somebody that is just immersed in themselves and in the dance of life, right? And that's what's important to you, because you as well want to give and receive from such people, whether it be, you know, discerning family members, or friends or lovers, or just whomever. The collective is just in this, rhino on the bottom of the deck with number 50. Overcome any obstacle. The collective is just like this rhino energy, just very strong in stance and very determined to kind of let obstacles fly with your extension of your nose, right? The rhino part of the rhino. So you might have like a very certain or specific nose or something. Like somebody here listening to this message could have a very prominent nose, or your nose is very important because you're singing. So if you've been thinking of rhinoplasty, don't do it, because it changes your tonality. So yeah. We have the cow spirit flying out, and it's a number 15, which is 6. So I'm getting a lot of Virgo energy here for some reason. I don't know where I saw number 6 earlier, but this is like the second or third time I was getting Virgo energy, but I haven't said it yet. The miracles are endless. So your crown and your heart are being adorned by flowers, which to me translates, or I interpret it as, again, collective is very connected to the source with their heart and their crown. What's missing here is groundedness, because the bat is hanging, the snake is just suspended in time, the skunk is on top of a flower, which is literally impossible. So what I'm getting here is, for some of you, knowing your true worth feels like like that mission impossible, right? So what a lot of us have been going through is this knowing our worth and balancing our egos out and questioning, you know, am I being too much or am I not being enough? And it's just been this impossible stance in life where you may feel like it's impossible to get on top of this flower because you are not a small little bee. You're not, you may, you know, sometimes your attitude may stink because you have to, you know, spray the other people's demons in some way, shape or form. But knowing your worth isn't such an impossible task, because if we look at things on a quantum level, yes, it has felt impossible because we haven't felt that true self-worth. But through these cycles, especially karmic cycles, we are step by step understanding how we can defy these laws of physics and laws of quantum physics, to be a skunk and to lay on top of this flower, which in theory should have bent and, you know, dropped us to the floor. But I'm getting this resilience that comes from you, collective. You just, as much as people have chipped away at your self-worth, you always kept this strong stance of, but I'm here on a mission and I won't surrender. Like, I won't surrender to any negative energy that's trying to get at me. And this cow spirit comes in with these endless miracles, being that strong energetic force of kind of, I don't know, I'm getting loyalty, and maybe some of you could be Tauruses, but I'm getting like, imagine having a cow as a pet from a small little calf, right? That's this cow. This is your future cow on your farm. And she's coming in saying like, you don't even know the miracles that are in front of you, but you're clearing out this clutter now. You need to tend to these smaller things. You need to get the edges right, you know, dot the I's and just check everything so you can truly come into your freedom, because this horse has been trying to come out for the longest, and it's just the saddest horsey I've ever seen. It always kind of gets to me emotionally when I see that card, but it's this soul cry of wanting to be living in that way that your soul wants to live, where your inner child, your small little you, is proud of you, and you won't regret anything on your deathbeds or whenever your time comes. So yeah, number 17 could be very significant. We got crows. Crows will be sending you messages. I just seen a crow today. I went just to get short papers because I'm a smoker and I'm trying to, you know, quit every time I'm low on tobacco, but I'm never quite ready because it's one of these connections, right? It's a karmic connection being a smoker. So it's really easy to just not light up a cigarette, right? But the psychology behind it is because it's my only relationship and it's a ritual and it does something, right? It changes something. But as much as we go away from water, air, just the pure elementals and food that was given to us, like fruits and vegetables, like going back to that Abrahamic way of thinking, right? Of the fact that humans don't need all of these telephones and all of these material objects, and we don't need anything but fresh air, quality water. I'm actually drinking like spring water because our tap water just, I smell all of the chlor. It's just horrible. Too many gases and minerals that are, I'd rather, you know, suffer and carry the water home, because it's important what you hydrate yourself with. And another thing, in these past few days I've been crying my eyes out, so it was really hard to film anything, but I needed to release a lot. So I've taken a few blankets, my golden fleece blankets, and I just laid underneath a linden tree. It's this special place in the park in my hometown where it's kind of my spot where I usually put a hammock or just, you know, hang there. But this time, after a long time, I went there and just laid on my back, my feet on the ground, and just imagining that all of my tears and emotions are just returning back to Mother Gaia. So I felt like I was meditating in a way where she held me, but I, you know, started growing roots and then the linden seeds started flowing very gently because there was a little bit of wind and it looked like this golden rain. And you know, sometimes when you look at trees and these sequences of how leaves or flowers or grass is formed, it actually brings you back to that connection of your visuals, visual receptors being reset into those fractals, right? So fractals are these sequences of how things form in the universe, right? So we are all a universal source sequence of energy, and how we grow and how our nervous system forms and how, I don't know, tree roots form. It all has this same fractal visual and the way it forms. So when we look at something like that, instead of four walls, concrete, and our iPads, we are able to come back to what's important, which is that nature self, right? We haven't been used to all of this until a few decades ago, and our nervous systems aren't made for so much electromagnetic what's the word, you know, the we I can't fucking translate this word. So EMF, right? Electromagnetic field. It's very important for our heart chakras because we are giving off an electromagnetic field, and devices are kind of fucking that up, right? They are affecting our heart chakras, which helps us be more anxious and depressed and out of tune. And be very mindful when you are overly emotional or anxious. You haven't seen, maybe, you know, just go touch some grass. Because I needed to touch some fucking grass, and I cried for hours. And then I was able to regain my appetite and regain my powers and my strength, because I just needed to surrender in that moment into my emotions so I can process them instead of harbor them and, you know, accumulate on them and make this a whole thing. I'd rather release and let go, even if it hurts, you know, express it, because I'm a strong believer in expressed emotions, whether it be, you know, sometimes we need to yell and break our vocal cords to really get it out of our system, and, you know, sing and be just wild, because we've been craving for that freedom, for that self-expression, and we've been hiding behind every word of that wasn't encouraging, that wasn't in support of what we wanted to do. So if you wanted to be a streamer, if you wanted to be an artist, if you wanted to be a programmer or whatever, you know, everybody always has an opinion, and your opinion matters most because it's your life. At some point, especially after 25, it's kind of like you're an adult. Now act like it. Yes, the society expects that of us, but on the other hand, we've been chipped at, especially energetically, where our expressions are closed off one by one and misaligned, and it hurts to come back into that space where you can feel like you are even able to connect to other people or to nature or to yourself. So never let anybody chip away your ability to connect to source, because that's where the strong emotions usually come from, because we have lost ourselves on the path of thinking that we were finding ourselves or that we were on the right path. Yes, we always are, even in redirections. It's necessary for growth, usually, because yeah, Bobcat doesn't want to be quiet. She's like, life is a mystery with the number 8. So I'm getting scorpionic energy here with Bobcat. But the last card is Seahorse Spirit with number 53, which is another 8. Watch and wait. So seahorses, right? They are very also, I would say that seahorses have divine masculines as well. So, you know, they can take care of children, they can take care of the family. I'm getting like being against the norms of society and your gentleness and the love that you're able to give, because you're like the sunshine. There's a lot of energy coming through at the same time, but whoever this is for, or that resonates with number 8 or scorpionic energy, the message here is that you're going to be a wonderful father or a wonderful mother, whoever this is for. But the way you take care of your family and your loved ones should be a whole course on love. So even though the divine feminines are a bit more on the dark side, or a bit more introverted right now, or just keeping to themselves, and they may even be, you know, shedding their past selves with the snake energy, because we have 5 5 5 5 4 1 5 5 3. So those numbers could be significant in sequences, or 10 10 1 1. You could be seeing 11 11 as well, because we did get 11 here, and earlier we also had an 11. Trust in the magic. So that's all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I'm going to make a few more on different topics, because this was just a just for my divine masculines and feminines to kind of recalibrate with what's important. But I will do a collective message next, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. I love you so much. Bye.